Gonna have to double check with.
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
CeeJaey, I can answer that. Sorry, we're trying to run around. There's one of the teams that's having one player having a little bit of issues getting in right now, so that should be resolved here fairly shortly and get going. Apologies for the delay. It's one of these things as much as we can handle in getting the server and getting everything to be ahead of time and done, we've done, but ultimately it comes down to making sure the players actually start on time. That's currently what we're waiting on. So we have everybody in the server -1. We're trying to get everything sorted out. It is going to be a PL upward. It's going to be a best of 3 matchup. And the way that it's going to work is in single elimination. So where it's going to be PL upward into product, or Viaduct, for anybody who's not familiar. Product is the pro version of it, and then it's going to be bad water for the decider if it gets to that point. So, yeah, it's going to be a best of 3 here today. So we might have a little bit extra, payload map, and I mean, honestly, that's exciting. That's great. It's just sad that we're starting a little bit late. That these guys are probably going to run over a little bit, but. Yeah, I mean, I think kind of everything you guys said, like, it is kind of interesting. And I was thinking about what you were talking about when the engineer class in particular. And, like, I could see that totally being a flex role on defense, because I think there's times where it's really important. But particularly on the second point, I don't think that it's engineers that strong of a class. And I'll be kind of curious to see if they end up mixing it up and whatnot as we're kind of waiting for it. I think we just are going to go live here not too long from now. But I mean, how about we can talk about the other map? I mean, do you think Product is going to be like a good map? Have you liked, like, CeeJaey, you watched it yesterday. I mean, did you think Product played well kind of in this format?
I love Product in general. I love it in Highlander. I pretty enjoy it in sixes because of the different kind of, especially with the global whitelist that's been brought in lately, across, Europe, Australia, America, this kind of unified whitelist that everyone's using, and it's brought in the gunslinger, which has allowed mini sentries. There's a lot of people kind of lamenting and saying it's going to be horrible, it's awful, but however, it's brought in, and you just to kind of glance on the thing that you talked about, that flex role, we have seen some European teams in the lower tiers trying out this kind of flex role where people do run engineer with mini sentry a lot more. So I think Product it does work, because you do see this constant sniper threat that you do also see in sixes, but you do see a couple of extra things like this constant spy, constant engineer. So I do think it plays quite well, and especially it doesn't have that kind of scout-dominated meta that we do see with scouts getting most of the heals, as they are the strongest class essentially in a 6v6 on Product. We are live now, so we are going to start with this first round on the best of 3 of Upward. In the blue is going to be Dogging Kruger Effect, DK. We've got Deft on Spy, Boar on Sniper, Sam on Medic, Trellon on Heavy, Split on Demo, Digi is on Pyro, and Rimu is on Scout. And on the red is going to be HP. And Rogue, do you want to take us through their roster?
Absolutely. We have a Syoth on Scout, Etney on Soldier, Giraffe Demo Man, Eerie Person on Heavy, Exile on Med, Barry Center on Sniper, and Faint on Spy, and maybe most notably, Zero Engineer.
Zero Engineer. So
yeah,
Sigafoo is going to be.
I'm crying a little bit here. Yeah, but I think HP are going to be the ones who are crying, because I just can't succeed. There's no way they can sustain a hold on the first point without a teleport. It's just not possible. As soon as you take this, you're, I mean, the first point's already kind of hard to hold, but as Barry Center gets taken out there early on, I'll let you guys take it away. But I'm interested to see how this plays out.
Def got really aggressive there. He's still cloaked behind them, actually taking down the sniper, which has allowed the entire team to walk out. They are on the cart. Feint is giving them that intel. He is on top of the roof. I think he might get spotted soon if Treylan is spamming in the right areas. But they've got the cart so far forward for free, essentially, because that sniper has been down. But Giraffe there gets domed by Boar. That is a huge pick. No Demo Man. Feint gets something. He does take down Boar. No Razorback, as it was banned in the weapons. So no Razorback means he has gone down. And DK just looking really strong so far.
There's some great high ground coming out from Trellon here, taking control of that playground area while Split and Ramu work the ground. Trellon actually goes down to Eerie Person. Eerie keeping control of that high ground as the Uber comes out from Exile and Syoth. The Uber not quite popped yet from Sam. Sam taking his in right now, and that's pretty much 100% advantage here. Cleaning up the frags one after another. Giraffe down, Exile down, Eerie Person down. And that's going to be our first point cap as the Highlander player side almost completely wipes.
Look at where Boar is. He is so far forward that by the time Barry Center has respawned, he's already just domed him straight out of the spawn. Amazing play. And look, DK, this is what I was talking about earlier, the transition play. They are already holding down this choke. The cart has only just passed that first point. They are holding down at the second spawn. Boar is the furthest person forward, just trying to get a cheeky snipe here and there. Can he land a shot? No, he realizes he needs to back out a little bit as Giraffe peeks his nose, starts spamming them stickies down. But they're so far forward, it's going to be essentially impossible for HP to even push out here, especially the fact that they are at an uber disadvantage. This cart is going to get pushed forward. Feint is going to go for a stab anytime soon, but no, they are checking, and this is what we talked about earlier. Two teams that are very Highlander oriented are going to be checking for that spy, and DK looking really strong right now, Rogue.
Yeah, we can see Highlander players trying to make a little bit of room for their sniper. We're not really able to make anything happen, but Eddie does get the force out on the stand. That's going to really pay off for the side of Highlander players, because now Exile is going to have almost a full ad. They might have the Uber in time to stop this cart, but look how many Dunning Kruger players are around the cart here. Here comes with the Uber, taking in Giraffe, taking in Sigafoo. They're just barely stopping the cart. The Uber comes out. Traylon fighting tooth and nail to finish off that cap. But this Uber is going to allow Highlander players to set back up in second and take some more seconds off that clock.
Yeah, Trellin tried so hard there with the Fist of Steel just to try and get the cap. As soon as they do get the cap, that does mean they get forward spawns. So this point is very key. It does mean that they get backward spawns on the side of HP as well. So this cap is very important. If someone can sneakily cap it, then it is really going to put it in the favor of DK, especially as they do have it. There we go, Rimu getting the cap there as the scout. Sam does have the Uber advantage. He didn't die in that previous exchange. So HP need to be careful. If they die here and they give up what is essentially the easiest point to hold, that sniper sightline is very strong, but Boar there is just doing so much work. Get another headshot onto Barry Center, who has to back off and just get healed up. But Rimu is walking forward. He's just Wing it. Oh, deft. Almost gets the backstab onto Eerie. He does get cleaned up eventually. But yeah, I mean, DK are just kind of working off of these picks, getting 1 or 2 frags, and their entire team is moving forward together in a group. And like I said, I thought these were going to be fast times, Rogue, but it seems it's going to be faster than I even expected.
Yeah, it seems like you might be right. We have a couple of combo players going down on the side of Highlander players, but the sniper for blue team, Boar, gets taken right down right after. So this is going to give some room to Barry Center. Maybe a little too much room, because Barry Center takes down Sam. That's the medic, but right away, Deft returns the kill, taking down Exile. Both meds are currently dead. We have the Traylon trying to push that card up. The Highlander players struggling to even stay in this fight, as Barry Center finds himself as the only player alive.
Wow, that was our first drop of the day, and then within about 5 seconds it was our second drop of the day. 2 huge plays there coming out of both teams. But Feint there is just still cloaked. He's in behind. He's just trying to have a look, give his team information. But look at this, Rimu and Trellin just doing kind of the donkey work, getting that car up the hill. It's really important to get it up these ramps so it doesn't roll back. And it does look like they are going to get this third, essentially for free. Split is going to get backstabbed there by Feint. Took his time and choked the pick carefully. But I mean, it just looks exactly like a team should be playing. As soon as their med went down, they were like, right, let's just go balls deep, let's just go straight in. Exile gets backstabbed again, Deft taking him down, going a bit of a spree. The cap has stopped. Right, it does actually look like he's past the point, but it hasn't, and somehow HP are kind of holding on here by their fingernails.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting play, you know, trading your medic for holding the point. This is going to lead to a sneaky back cap from Deft here, looking right on that cart and getting the capture out. So now they gave up their med. It looks like they were able to return the kill onto Sam, but, you know, getting an extra maybe 20 seconds here, not the end of the world, especially with how fast we're seeing this time go so far, as we see both teams sort of resetting. Highlander players maybe biting off a little more they can chew here, because they're playing a little far forward, and it looks like they're not opting to get that hard hold on to last quite yet.
No, and he's got to be careful as Giraffe does go down. The cart has been capped, and with no demo man, they have to be careful. Barry Center trying to get a sight line, does take down the scout. He's on a 6 kill streak, not doing too badly at all, despite his team going pretty far down. The taunt coming out of Trellin, a little bit of zombie dancing there as he does punch the spy in the face. But DK looking really strong. They just seem comfortable at the moment. They're walking forward and doing really well. And HP, I feel, since the first point, just haven't got a solid hold, Rogue. Like they've just been kind of pseudo holding, but no, Feint gets the double kill, takes down Sam, and he takes down the sniper. I'm not sure if that was a drop or not. I don't think it was. But the spies are going huge here right now.
Yeah, in times like this, you really look to your spy. You say, hey, well, we need something, and the spy class is the one that can open those doors. We actually have a fantastic bomb from Digi going in on Exile. Exile surfs down through drop down, able to survive on 20 health, going right back into upper here. So a lot of Highlander players will know this notorious upper hold on last. This hold can be very, very difficult to break. If you try and work the cart through main, the players are going to spam you from the upper area and you can't move farther forward. If you try and walk up these tiny, tiny staircases, well, your team's just going to get stuffed. So it's definitely going to come down to these snipers. And is that a battalion's backup by here? Yes, it is. We have Enemy popping the battalion's back up, cleaning up the cart. Traylon goes down, Digi down, Reimu down. Even Giraffe pressuring forward, seeing who he can find in Spiral, but nothing quite yet.
Yeah, really well played there by HP, using that backup to great effect, like you predicted that they would, kind of using it as a pseudo Uber, meaning they've held onto that Uber. Sam did survive though, so he's going to catch up and have 100% as well. And only one casualty on both teams, so nothing too major. Ball just trying to peek in through main. He does take a headshot, has to back off a little bit, get healed up. But if you can get an opening pick here, it's going to be huge for this team to walk in. But nothing quite yet. Barry Center is in that really annoying spot in between the boxes. A really, really good sight line for him, and very, very difficult for people to get up to him. But Eerie is kind of split there though, getting headshot and Ball getting taken down, and HP just kind of solidifying a little bit here.
We're seeing some great car pressure from Deft, if you ask me, where he keeps that cart moving forward little by little. You know, he got it right around the bend all by himself, actually, and that's going to stop the cart from rolling backward as well. As Giraffe gets a little extended, Deft tries to collapse on him, but not quite able to steal the frag. And Sam goes down to Feint. Feint is really giving it to Sam here, and Sam's a very proficient Highlander medic, so you'd expect him to see those spies, but then again, you know, maybe not always a strong suit of his. So we have Exile here going to have about a 50% dad. The Highlander player's side resetting in that upper area, and they're going to be very happy they have this hold, because if they're able to get another 2 minutes here, that turns into a very standard time, at least by our Highlander metrics as we know them. Maybe it's not so standard for the 7 versus 7, but they're definitely very comfortable up here. Giraffe trapping off the spiral, Air person watching backstairs, Feint spotting what's happening under, able to call to his team whether they need to rotate or not. And Feint is actually going to see almost the entire Doggy and Kruger side underneath. They catch out Feint, but Feint gets the info for his team.
Yeah, and it is really this... Oh, nice rockets there from Digi, actually. Just hitting Eerie as he was trying to stand on the railing. Deft is going to come in from behind and maybe able to get a backstab here. He's waiting. He's biding his time to try and go for Barry Center. Uncloaks on the cart and gets the backstab, so no sniper. 4 HP now, so it's going to be easier for DK to walk in for free. And yeah, great cart pressure coming in from Remit, just standing on the cart, ×2 on the cart, and no one's trying to block it. Someone needs to stand and block that cart, otherwise DK are going to get it, but no, they all collapse. There are a couple of Uber Swords coming out, actually. Sam takes down Feint, while Exile actually gets the heavy kill on his team, and then gets an arrow as well to take down the Spy. Only 2 players left alive for DK, and somehow HP have gone from basically getting rolled on the first 3 points to just really just setting themselves up and getting a good hold here. And most importantly, their med is surviving. Exile keeps surviving these exchanges. He's once again at 100% Uber. Sam does have to play catch up for the time being. And something that's kind of interesting is that we're not seeing any class changes from either team. We've yet to see an engineer, we've yet to see a pyro. I'm not sure whether this is just something both teams are doing or whether they don't feel a change is actually needed.
Yeah, I actually frequently see Digi coming from lower trying to spot out a sentry gun, but Highlander players just not giving him one. You know, it sort of lets you be a little more dynamic. You have players who can put out the damage, who can put out the frags. You don't have to worry about whether a gun is up or down as long as you're walking around, watching those doors with your own 2 eyes. So now, here we have Deft working that card a little bit more, trying to go for a play. Gets caught out by Syath. But, we still have some great high ground from Highlander players. They got a little forward earlier and almost lost that entire push from a great cart time from Reimu. But now they know they're going to play a little farther back. They're going to really watch that cart. Watch if anyone gets a little overextended here. And Deft's going to get a step onto Eerie. Digi takes down Feint. So this is going to open up the push from Dog and Kruger. Taking in the pop off split here from upper with Sam. And Exile goes down, Scythe is down, Etney's down. Will Giraffe and Barrison to be able to hold this? Looks like no, and that's a 10-minute and 28-second capture time to the Dog and Kruger side, CeeJaey.
Wow, I mean that all started with some good choice by DK. I mean, you know, it was kind of poor spotting by HP. They decided to Uber out and try and catch some people out, but instead it was Sam, and I believe he had Giraffe for company, just going underneath and basically just avoiding the whole Uber. And you know, with less players on each team, it does mean there's less eyes watching these little channels, these little flanks here and there, and it may not always be aware of where the enemy team are. So it meant that Sam had this Uber advantage. We're getting a couple of picks there when they were pushing in was key. I'm able to cap that out pretty comfortably. But on the defense now, we have DK, and they're going to try and defend this time. I mean, we went from 4:47 for the first 3 points, and over 5 minutes, almost 6 minutes from them to push from 3rd to 4th is not good by any means. So they're not going to be very happy with that. But they have elected, Rogue, they have elected to switch Trellon off of Heavy, and he is now on NG. He is running level 3s. So we'll see if they're going to have a better fortune defending with an engineer than HP did without.
And I have to wonder now, too, how are they going to defend from bombs? If you don't have that Heavy to shoot the bombers, jumping in towards your med, jumping in towards your gun, I guess now. Whew, has to be a quick snipe from Barry Center onto Boar. But we're going to have to see what that playground turns into with no Heavy on the side of DK. As we have Exile and Giraffe pushing it very fast. Usually you wait to commit your medic, but Exile doesn't have time for that. Runs right in as Def returns the sniper kill on the Barry Center.
Yeah, he's running that cloak and dagger, doing exactly what we saw him do yesterday. Just cloaking on that far side, watching the flank, giving his team intel, and he actually just climbed the roof there, got the backstab onto Barry Center. Uber's come out very, very early on. Def trying to get a backstab, but can't actually get onto Erie's head. And the exchange does come in, Sam using it much later, so that Uber is going to clean up a couple of players. Etney and Erie going down, but Split gets domed there by Barry Center. He's got so much space, he walks forward, does take a shot, so he has to back off, heal up a little bit, but he's getting free shots onto this sentry, and he does get the body shot onto Rimu. Does go down for the cause of it, but you know, those respawns have to come in. The saps come onto the teleporter, Rogue, which, like I was talking about earlier, is going to really, really hurt DK with those respawns.
Oh, absolutely. Any trade that goes down here is going to favor the offensive side. So now we see the defense here playing around playground still. Def comes in and gets a quick kill onto Erie and Etney. That's going to stop the cart for sure. Now we have 3 players down on the side of Highlander players. As Barry Center says, well, not yet. Takes down Split on the side of DK as Boar goes right back into Barry. So that's going to give a lot of space for Boar for the next 10 seconds, letting him take whatever sideline he wants to.
Absolutely, and Giraffe there with some nice pipes does take down Rimu, but they do trade, and Boar is just on a 3-kill streak right now. He has that freedom, and he is taking the shots, but both teams do have their Uber now. HP are so far forward, Erie taking so much damage, gets dropped there. A bit of overkill there, Boar with the headshot, but no! Sam gets body shot there by Barry Center, med down, and people are laughing in the chat. I have no idea what they're laughing about. But med did drop, and Exile hasn't used. So they have 100% Uber to ready to push in here. Deft is cloaked, so he's going to be able to tell his team where they are and what's going on. But with no sniper, no NG up, and no medic, Rogue, it's going to be very difficult for DK to get any sort of hold here on second.
And it looks like we had Boar, knowing what this means for his team, actually ran behind the Highlander players as sniper, trying to get a snipe off on Exile. But no dice for Boar here. The full ad popped in here from Exile onto Giraffe. Giraffe pressuring Treylon, seeing what he can get here. But it looks like they're just going to opt to play back around that cart. Try and play this high ground area, not let the DK side pressure in. But Boar has a wonderful sightline onto the cart as Deft collapses on it at the same time. Deft ends up going down, Split, Treylon fall. Giraffe really making great work of this high ground as Boar takes Erie back just for good measure. But it looks like this cap's going to go to the side of Highlander players.
Yeah, this is slightly poor decision making, I feel, from DK. You know, they've got players in the respawn queue for at least 10 seconds now, and if HP are going to be smart, which they are doing, they are moving forward, trying to hold down this choke before those respawns can do anything. Boar is up though, so if you can get land a snipe, that is going to be pretty big. Deft uncloaking behind Barry Center, does get the backstab, so Boar has that freedom, not worried about getting sniped, as he does take down Feint with the ham, so he doesn't have to worry about getting headshot or backstab for the time being. And HP trying to push this cart up now, but they're not getting that cart pressure as well as DK did, I feel. So they're kind of just doing it very, very slowly, and it's allowed DK to get into position now and get some sort of hold. And this is kind of looking like a Highlander hold. They got a soldier up the top, they got a Heavy in the demo just playing around on the balcony, and the sniper watching. Boar wins that sniper battle again against Barry Center, and both teams on Uber advantage. I'm sure DK feel pretty comfortable here at the moment.
You can really see where the weapon bans come into play here for me, at least, because we saw Treylon on the cart here capping with those Fists of Steel. You were able to contest that sniper on roller coaster over there, like the wooden platform towards the point. So Treylon, now we see Erie on the offensive side, rather. We have Erie pushing the cart here with those Fists of Steel, able to just walk right into Boar's sightlines, handle whatever comes his way, and really keep that cart moving forward. You can see now here, he takes it away for just a second, gets headshot and taken right back down. So there goes the cart pressure. And now Boar's going to take that wide angle. Both teams sort of resetting with their Ubers.
Yeah, I mean, that was like an instant double +2 from both spies. Both Feint and Deft came in at essentially the same time to backstab the other team's medic. So both medics dropped within a split second of each other. They even talked about it in the chat. They were like, can you not do it at the same time, please? You know. So both teams' medics died there. Exile is going to have a slightly advantage. They've got about 10-15% because of that faster respawn. But DK still have players up. Deft is he's just cloaked on the cart, running that cloak and dagger. But look at Etney. He's coming in from behind. He's coming in through shithouse. He's got a good eye line onto some people. If he can make a move, he's running the direct hit. Can he get the air shot onto Digi? No, he can't. And Feint is coming in behind. He does get the backstab onto Boar. And HP are slowly but surely just getting some key picks here. They're getting the ground. And DK, I think, rather wisely backing out now.
Luckily for the side of DK, Highlander players has a lot of cart time to make up, so we might see another one of those pops come out to try and contest the cart, and there we go. Ask me what lottery numbers are coming up because I can see the future. We have the Uber Force trying to come out from Digi onto Sam here, or excuse me, Digi onto Exile. Exile does pop it out. Gets Reimu, gets Digi, and this is going to give a little bit more room to Syath here, try and pressure forward. Giraffe's looking to come back in as well, but Traylon holding down the fort here, shoving them right back down slope. This cart's getting pressured forward by Syath, but it looks like Syath's not quite able to seal the deal.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Syath's choice there was correct. He, during that fight, having that freedom, like you just mentioned, he decided to go for the cart instead. Whereas it might have been a good idea to just continue the fight and get some frags. But Feint going huge, takes down both Sam and Split. That's Medic and Demo down now for DK, as Syath does get the bleed kill onto Treyland. So DK bleeding players out here. 4 minutes and 15 seconds to go. So to be fair, it's taken them longer than it did DK to push these first 3 points. But it was only about 4 minutes and 47 seconds, I think it was, for DK to capture third point. And it's been closer, well, it's been over 6 minutes, 4 HP now. So despite having this uber advantage, they are still kind of behind setting the pace. And DK, if they can get a similarly decent last hold that their opponents did, they'll be okay. But they're starting to throw players in. Split and Remo have all gone down. Deft is also down. Boar tries to make amends, gets a couple of frags there, including one on Exile. So that uber advantage has gone now, Rogue. And maybe DK can just kind of slow things down and just settle in for the last hold.
Yeah, I think Boar has definitely earned more than his share of whatever prize money they end up making here. He sees how tough of a hold this is going to be for his team, but as I say this, Sam ends up going down as well. So now the DK side is going to be very hard for us to hold this point. Uber disad, no medic for another 7 seconds. Let's see if they're able to pull out a hero plate.
Oh no, I'm not sure what he chose to do there. He kind of changed his mind about going for the medic, or just saw the medic looking at him and tried to go for the heavy instead, but he does die. The DK now are 4 down. Sam just starting to heal. Everyone on HP is very, very weak, but they don't have the players for the cleanup. Split is trying the best he can, but gets a face full of direct hit as Etney comes in. Boar is doing work here, just trying to get those headshots to keep his team in the game, but he has gone down. 2 minutes and 49 seconds left to go, but HP are all over this cart. There is a sentry up. It is level 1 by Treyland on the last point. It's on that traditional top area, but no! Deft comes in. Both medics going, no, they're not going down. Never mind, the engineer went down, and instead Sam did go down in all of that. So DK no heals for now, as Exile does go down eventually. This time it's to Digi, who's running that black box now, and this sentry on this last hold is probably a wise decision, I feel, Rogue.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's getting pressured out pretty quickly, and we have some nice bounce from Reimu on that cart. Split trying to hold it off, watching any sneaky caps here, and we have Eerie trying to work his way forward, really surviving the sniper sightlines, but Boar immediately takes in Exile. Says not so fast there, but Eerie person's able to just work that card forward. A sniper might not be able to close the distance there. So that's
he was running those fists of steel. He just sat on the cart, and the soldier came down. I think it was Digi trying to come down and just shoot, and he was hitting direct rockets with the direct hit onto Eerie, but because he was running the Fist of Steel, he just wasn't taking that much damage. And getting a little bit of heals from that guy, he's able to just tumble it in to the pit. So that first round is going to go to Highlander players. HP 1-0 to the good now on this first best of 3 on Upward. And I don't know, looking good for it, I feel. I mean, they seem to take a little bit of time to warm up to it. First 3 defenses weren't very good, but that last hold was indeed pretty strong. And they had a good push there.
Yeah, for Highland anyway, really what pushes and plays end up coming down to is how well can you create advantages for your team, create openings, and how well can you capitalize on them, right? So we can see the snipers and the spies from both sides doing so much work. The medic's constantly going down. The combo class is constantly going down. Even trading snipers, letting one sniper have free reign. And it looks like the Highlander players are just a little bit better collapsing on those advantages, really opening those doors, especially after we saw that 6-minute push from third to last on the side of DK. It really makes the difference here when you're able to move forward. You really know what to do with those doors that your pick classes open for you.
Absolutely. I mean, looking at the logs, all of the players who got 20 frags or more, we got Barry Center with 20, Feint with 21, Boar with 21, and Deft with 22. So, like you said, all the pick classes are going huge. Syaf, though, for Highlander players, on 23 frags, in fact, top fragging, didn't actually see him, like, personally doing much work. So he just must have been there in the background getting clean up and winning those 1v1s. Did very well there to top frag for his team on a payload map. But, I mean, at the start of this, I would have edged it. I would have said DK, judging on their performance in the group stages, were possibly the slight favourites coming into this game. But Highlander players showing, they're not to be messed with. Yesterday they had a very, very good day, taking points off of Freyo Tech. So they're here to say that they mean business. I mean, what do you think DK need to do? I mean, I think their undoing was obviously that last push, but do you think we're going to see any class changes out of them at all?
I might expect. We saw that engineer coming out on a couple points. We might see, depending on the spawns, depending on how much time they have to set up, maybe we'll see a little bit more engineer play. Maybe we'll actually see a pyro as well. A pyro is really, really strong in that upper area on last, because a pyro is able to stuff whatever players decide to push a staircase if they take the Uber into that upper area. So I might expect to see some of those off classes, but at the same time, if Highlander players know how to deal with anything, it's Highlander classes. So and to add on to that, the DK side, for most of their players, they aren't as familiar with some of these Highlander classes. So it's going to be a little bit of a struggle for them to sort of innovate against the innovators.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do think they had their own set of strats. Treland there running the engineer on the defense on the first point, and then switching off to heavy on the second and third points, and then on last switching up again to the engineer just to get that level 3 up, watching on the balcony. So obviously he's that person who needs to take the multi-class role and play those two roles, but no one else is really changing. Whereas on HP, no one seemed to change class at all. It was very much, they stuck to their classes, they played the game. They've obviously got players who are good at their classes and they didn't feel they needed to change strats at all. Eerie is running engineer in the pregame, but I'm not sure if that's going to be indicative of him running it in the actual game or not this time around. But Feint, like I said, I saw him play Pyro yesterday on some of the maps, and maybe that's from more DM oriented maps. Maybe we'll see that on Product, but the amount of work he's doing on Spy, obviously the two spies going huge, and it does surprise me coming into this that, especially against Highlander teams who, they've got that experience playing in a game mode where there are spies and snipers 24/7, that they wouldn't be slightly more aware. I mean, I'm not calling out the players at all, but I do think these spies have had a lot of freedom, and it does surprise me how effective they've been.
Yeah, you can see here, Feint end up having a couple more deaths, but they really have the same amount of kills pretty much. We had 2 drops coming out of Exile and 3 drops coming out of Sam, so pretty even across the board. And even to look a little more into these logs, a lot of these playing really close. Boar and Barry Center, 1 kill away from each other. Digi and Etney, 1 kill away from each other. Really the only 2 shortcomings I even find are, we have Reimu getting 13 kills to Syaf's 23. Those are the scout players. And then we have Split getting 13 kills and 312 damage per minute. Giraffe on 19 kills, 425 DPM. So we can see a little short on damage, but it looks like we're live here into the second round.
I just want to jump in here real quick. I just kind of wanted to speak to that kind of UGC ban, the Razorback this season, and Razorback was one of the first bans in this map, and I think we're seeing the effectiveness of that ban because the spies have respectively killed their snipers. I believe it was 7 with Deft, and Feint killed the other sniper 6 times. And I think that's one of the times, I mean, the snipers are doing work, they're still having a great job, but they're being contested constantly. So a third of all kills from the spies are on the snipers today, and I think that's playing a big role as we get started in this next round.
Yeah, I mean, Ball yesterday did so much work, huge kill streaks, lots of important frags, but he wasn't really contested that much. And I suppose playing against a team with a more, actual spy main, means that they know how to go for those picks. As Ball does get the first kill of this second round, it's on Giraffe, so that's just going to slow HP down a little bit. They're just getting some card pressure. The heavy running that fairy loadout with the pumpkin head and his fist of steel. He's just getting the card up and not taking damage at all. But Eerie does go down, and so does Syath as well. Ball on a 3-kill streak, so he's got that freedom at the moment, just getting protected by his team, just keeping an eye out for that spy. And HP just slowly but surely pushing the cart up as Barry Center goes down. So once again, Rogue is just going to give more and more space to Ball.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we see now Traylon opts to not go for the engineer, but for the heavy. And he's playing right on top of Boar. If anyone tries walking forward towards Boar, they have to answer to Traylon first. But Barry Center, luckily, does not have to walk anywhere to kill Boar. He's sitting pretty in spawn. Takes that snipe out, and this is going to allow Exile. And you have to walk forward. His feint takes on Sam. This is going to open the door.
Oh no, how many Uber drops is that today so far? It's at least the 5th I've seen from both medics, as Sam is the first one to drop in this second round. And Split going down there, big jump in from Digi, trying to get some sort of force. He lands a second rocket onto Exile. Deft is trying to chase him down, but his team do a great job just collapsing on those suicides. 2 players left alive now for DK, and they are both respawners far back. HP trying to hold on to this Uber advantage. And once again, we're seeing a situation where the defending medic has died on the first point. The attacking team has 100% Uber advantage, but both times, Rogue, we've not seen kind of a clinical push. We've seen really, really slow. It'll be interesting to see if HP can actually do something here, as the first pick is very early on, and it is Ball.
Yeah, we have Scythe getting a little too far forward, wanting to take that Uber at him, but ends up outside of his medic's beam. We have Traylon hiding behind Exile and Giraffe in the window. Let's see if he is able to sort of collapse on Exile here. Looks like he's going to allow Exile to leave, as Highlander players work that cart closer and closer, taking down Sam yet again from Barry Center. Sam is not able to catch a break, CeeJaey.
No, he's not, but in comes Traylon! Oh, he should have coordinated that better with Digi. They were both waiting. Digi jumped in there, and it was just delayed from Traylon. If he'd gone in earlier, then maybe that kind of double distraction would have done something there. Exile wasn't actually too bothered by it at all. That Tomislav being run by Traylon, and he's going to have another 5 seconds in the respawn queue. This is a very, very good time so far. Exile at 50-60% already. His team holding on to this corner, and they're looking really, really good so far. DK just seem to be struggling. They seem to be bleeding players at the wrong time. Barry Center going down, though, and that's just going to slow them down. And so does Syath. He was, of course, the person who got the most frags. Jump in from Digi. He lands 1 rocket, but the second one he cannot get. And Exile is just dodging all over the place at the moment. He is doing absolutely great as DK get a few frags to keep themselves in this. Deft is watching. He knows where Exile is, and he knows their percentage. And he does uncloak now. Don't let him get the oh no, he gets the double frag. Can he take down Exile as well? In comes Giraffe just to clean him up, but he gets 2 kills there. 2 kills when the spy was clearly called out. Remu's trying to get in onto Exile now, but he gets cleaned up. But that was HP just saying in chat, what? Question mark? Almost gifting the backstabs there to death, but we're now going to see equal Ubers, Rogue, and things just maybe settling down a little bit now.
Yeah, I don't know what I did to deserve this. What a wonderful display of skill we're seeing here. You can really never expect what you see from Deft. But we have the Uber coming out here on the side of Exile. Sam comes in and returns it. These Ubers are pretty interesting to me because when I think of third Ubers, I think pyroblasting people back off that cliff. But since they have so much room, Barry Center takes down Spit. But wow, TK really collapsing on these Highlander players. Eerie and Feint are the only players left alive. Deft and Boar just having a field day, tearing into these players. The cart's not able to even move halfway up the roller coaster, and now Boar's able to take that high ground.
I was just watching Eerie there. He was like, I'm not going to push the cart anymore, I'm going to try and get away. And he was just being pistoled down by Deft, and the headshots coming in from Boar, who did die in the end. And Deft actually, Deft getting heals there by Exile. He does get caught out in the end, but no spy or sniper to worry about now. And also, Feint going in, taking down Split. Digi doing a huge jump and just blocking that cart, taking down enemy, but only 2 players left alive for DK. Remo is surely going to die soon enough as he tries to, and he actually does get out alive, but it is going to be at the cost of this third point. It's taking a little bit longer for HP to push this one forward. And once again, we see the spies doing a lot of work. Deft getting that double kill to kind of block that third point. But with this 100% Uber, HP definitely in the ascendancy here. They can kind of, if they can finish this off clinically, it's going to be a very, very good time for them. But if it's going to get, you know, if they allow Sam to get 100% Uber, then I think we're going to see a little bit more of a stalemate like we did last time.
Yeah, we saw a very heads-up play out of Digi to bomb for the cart while his team was totally dead. That gave his team another probably 15 seconds to reset themselves, work their way back into upper as Exile and Giraffe take that Uber out, but Boar, Digi, and Deft mulching the players of Highlander players. Whew, Exile ends up going down as well on the side of Highlander players. Some really dirty frags coming back and forth. Giraffe coming in with the bottle trying to take down Sam, but Sam ends up making it back to spawn just in time.
That was so close. You know, Sam, I could see his thought process. I want to get a kill here, but he got down very, very low there. Giraffe almost getting the frag. So very fortunate for him to stay alive. But he does have double the Uber. Well, he did have double the Uber until he got backstabbed by Feint. Once again, the spies going huge. Giraffe taking down Split as well. So no demo man for the defending side. 3 players down, and this positioning from DK got them out earlier on. Deft getting caught out. As he tries to go in for a backstab, but if Exile can get his team into a good position, Digi's coming in behind. No one's caught him! He missed his first rocket! He missed his first rocket! And then he shot his second, it hit Exile, but he didn't have another one in the barrel to get the kill. So that means Exile still is alive and still has 100% Uber. Sentry has also gone down. Lots of cap time getting done. Once again, it's Eerie on this cart with the Fist of Steel, just being the distraction as the Uber comes in to clean up some of these frags. And HP just doing so well here, just trying to focus down everyone who is left alive. Trelan running that engineer, trying to get a sentry up, but it is pretty much going to be a white. Remu just going to sacrifice himself on the cart. And that is going to be a much faster time than we saw earlier. 6 minutes and 42 seconds, Rogue. And HP looking very strong at the moment.
Oh yeah, it almost looks to me like the only things standing in Highlander players' way right now are Boar and Deft. You know, we have some heads-up play, especially Digi, Raymery sort of capitalizing on those openings. But really, when things start getting rough, Boar and Deft are the only ones pulling out any frags. The Highlander players really working together, really cohesive, listening to their fearless leader Giraffe, following all those calls, and that's really keeping them together, really letting them win these team fights. And Barry Center and Feint going down on the side of HP. So this is going to make DK very comfortable, working forward, trying to get that cart time, but Eerie on Engineer is holding off the cart, CeeJaey.
He's, yeah, I mean, it's an odd time, I feel, to swap over, but big bomb in from Etney. He doesn't actually get any of the frags that he needed to, but a bit of an odd time to swap to Engineer there, just kind of bum rush the cart and try and whack up a sentry as Barry Center takes the shot there and has to back off. So some heals. Def goes in for the stab, but he whiffs it, and that does mean that Exile is going to have 100% Uber. Sam just catching up. He's only at 90%. Feint is just cloaking around on this cart, just having a look around and getting an idea. Headshot coming in from board takes down Barry Center, and the Uber is very, very aggressive. Split is totally separated from the rest of his team. Sam is dead. He got caught out there with the Uber, so that is another drop coming out from him. And it seems that at the moment HP are just winning these Uber exchanges, and they're just looking much than they did early on. Deft is chasing Eerie. Does Eerie know? No, he doesn't. He's running the gloves are running urgently, and he took that mini crit L'Etranger shot right to the back of the head. And Exile did die in all of that chaos. So Sam once again is going to be building up that Uber, and let's see if he can not drop this one, because he's dropped the last couple in a row, Rogue.
And not only that drop there from Sam was actually a drop to Giraffe. And, you know, it's very, very polite of Sam to sort of spread the love, let a couple other people get some drops off. But, yeah, Exile gets traded back right away. Exile's going to be on a slight bit of advantage here as Sam just works his way back in. We see Feint's a little close here. Feint trying to pressure out Boar, but he's going to get caught out. Not able to find anything, but, yeah, this is definitely a point capture on the side of DK, unless we have any crazy plays. But, yeah, no one's even close.
Yeah, there's only 3 players left alive. Feint is on the cart. No, Remu just turns around just at the right time. to catch out that spy, doesn't allow him to block the car. And Exile does have an Uber advantage. He's at 100%, Sam's only at 50. Eerie going down though, so it's going to be a little bit easier for DK just to rush in and try and get that force there. You can see how far back they are. Exile's only at 75 HP because of that forward spam. So HP, you know, in a decent position at the moment, but they've got to be careful due to the lower numbers and the lack of the position of their respawns. Barry Center is in a very good position here though, so he is watching through that, just trying to kill people on the cart, and a double kill from Syath takes down Digi and Ball. So, you know, the flank players are doing well as Eerie drops down, takes down Rumu. He's getting so much damage onto everybody else, and he's not being pressured whatsoever as he tries to run away there. And, you know, DK have got some work to do now to just try and break down this hold.
Yeah, and I'm loving this, loving seeing how Highlander players are adapting here. First of all, we saw that quick fix pop just come out of Exile there.
Oh,
we also have
sorry
Faint
to
on
interrupt.
Pyro.
We've got a reflex kill from Feint there, switching off to the Pyro and just reflex kills split there. I think it was amazing. Just don't shoot rockets at Pyros, kids. It's not good for your health. But Feint deciding it's time for the Pyro on last. Sam is actually on fire now, just trying to run away and heal somebody. Has to go down and get the health back because he was getting quite low. But Exile does go down to the body shot from Boar, so no heals for the defending team now. That's going to be very difficult for them, but it's interesting to finally see the Pyro Rogue. It's come out into action. It's doing a little bit of work.
Yeah, what a play out of Boar too, to take that angle through the top of the spiral stairs onto Exile. This is going to give Sam full ad. Syath was able to save off the push through main by cleaning up a couple of the flank players, but Exile is going to come back here still on that quick fix, working in towards upper as we have DK working into that lower area.
Yeah, they're looking to go up these stairs. Now, Barry Center has no idea, and he is going to be the first casualty. That Pyro, they're just trying to air blast away, and, you know, the HP players are just trying to scatter, and they're doing a good job at it. They're getting a few kills, but then DK are just focusing now. Eerie is very, very weak, is going to get taken down by Rimu. There's only 2 players left alive. One of those is Giraffe, and he is just trying to do the best he can, spamming onto the cart. He's getting some sickies down, but the most important thing is HP do have heals. Exile is nowhere near his demo man. He is going to get gunned down, and this is pretty much going to be a cap now for DK. 7 minutes and 55, slightly longer than we saw from HP earlier, so HP probably feeling good. They're probably thinking, if we can do the same time we did in the previous round, then we've got this map in the bag. But there's some interesting plays coming out there from HP. Just deciding maybe to switch the classes up a bit.
You know what I have to wonder, CeeJaey? I have to wonder, are these medics using quick fix because they think they're going to drop again before they get an Uber off? Because, you know, there's so much pressure coming onto them where, honestly, it's not a bad idea. The thing about the quick fix is you heal so fast that it enables you to sort of get these dry pushes in, and you don't have to worry so much about forcing to certain things because, you know, the speed boost, the ability to tap so many of your players and get them to full buffs instantly, it really opens up a lot of doors for your pushes and for your holds. So that's my question. Why are we seeing so much quick fix? And I might think it has something to do with the pick classes.
Well, Sigafoo's not here right now, but me and him have had a lot of discussions about the quick fix. You know, I like the quick fix as a medic. I do think it does have its place in the meta. If you can, you know, especially in Highlander, you get that extra healing rate. It can really help in team fights, and I feel on things like, you know, product, it can work really, really well. I'm surprised to see it on a payload map, and yeah, it does raise the question: why are we seeing it used? It don't really see the visible advantage. But here comes the big bomb in from Giraffe. He's trying to get some stickies round and doesn't actually get much damage down at all. He's going to get headshot there by Boar, oh no! In comes Death, gets a double kill, and Sam there having to use his Uber, just trying to get aggressive. They are cleaning up the frags, but Rogue Exile just sitting in, just chilling, minding his own business, now has 100% Uber and a huge Uber advantage for his team to push on.
Well, I don't know if I would get too comfortable with Exile once my life flashed before my eyes, because as I was standing in spawn, I had Feint headshot me and body shot me, almost dropped me from inside spawn. But right now we have Deft as the star taking down Barry Center, and we're going to have the Uber coming from Exile. Giraffe's working this very far forward. Sam and Split trying to keep themselves alive. Split is actually still at full health. Sam has about 60-70 health on the sweet regen. And the DK side is just cleaning up these Highlander players.
Yeah, they did really, really well there. They scattered during the Uber, kited it as best as they could. They lost a couple of players, but losing a scout and a spy you know, they still had their meaty, lots of HP players alive. And Treylan there was just constantly holding that mouse one, just gunning people down and getting the damage ball there, getting another headshot, this time onto Feint, who is running the Pyro on the attack now. So deciding maybe trying to switch things up a little bit, changing off of the Spy class and doing something different. But DK looking comfortable at the moment, 6 minutes and 15 seconds to go, and an Uber advantage on this first point. They're going to be pretty happy with themselves.
We see actually Boar playing by himself at the behind playground here. Treylan and Digi really working that high ground, really making it difficult for the flank to come in on the side of Highlander. Split ends up taking down Berry Center as well. Boar takes that Eerie with this newfound room that he's been given now that the sniper's down for the enemy side. And Exile's working at 90% Uber here. He's hanging back, waiting for the Uber, probably going to heal up Giraffe and work their way in. But they would definitely like to have some sort of opening here, CeeJaey.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I understand the Pyro choice. They're maybe thinking of trying something different, but it just seems they don't have an... Excuse me, they don't have an angle at the moment. And they're trying the same thing. They're just Ubering in through the top now. They do get a couple of kills early on, but the counter Uber is going to come in, flashing a lot of times though. So now if HP decide to walk forward together as a group and just focus down, they can maybe get this first cap. And they are trying to take position. Eerie is in up top. He is going to take down Treylan, and he is going to get so much damage down. Takes down Digi as well, and this is what I was talking about. HP just walking forward together as a group. They take down Sam as well. Exile survived, meaning he's going to have an Uber advantage for this next point. They do try and take down Boar as well, so there's not going to be any cheeky snipes coming in from the DK side. And Sam is still in a 5-second respawn with the rest of his team, so it's going to be a while before him to come up, and I don't think DK are going to be able to hold on to the second point very well.
Yeah, what we saw there was Eerie and Psyop definitely winning that push for their team. It was one of my rogue-isms coming to fruition. It's basically something that's an absolute truth of Team Fortress, and one of them for Upward for me is whoever controls Playground after Ubers will win the hold. So we saw, once the Ubers were fading, Eerie on Heavy and Scythe on Scout jumped onto that Playground area. Eerie got something like 3 kills, and they were able to then hold that high ground, stop any sort of repush, and even clean up the players who were left in. So Eerie and Scythe really doing work, really showing they know how to play this map, and giving their team a very comfortable push.
It was very, very good positioning from them, but there's only 4 minutes and 5 seconds to go for HP to capture the next few points. So I mean, it is entirely possible. Still plenty of time to do it, but they do need to start winning these engagements and not giving up the Uber advantages. So Sam was at an Uber disadvantage for a while. The bonk comes in from the Sandman onto Giraffe. It's going to slow him down. It does mean Sam does get the Uber. Digi's in behind. He's going to get 1 rocket, 2 rockets. Does force the Uber onto Exile. Does cost him his life. But the Uber is probably going to favour DK now, even though they've got less players. They are focusing down Eerie. He does go down. Boar gets backstabbed, so no sniper support as Feint comes in from behind. Can he get the backstab? Treylan, he does turn around at the right time. Good spy awareness from him. But DK are slowly losing players as the longer this fight goes on. But now Exile is just going to be happy to escape with his life. And DK just kind of... they're eking out as much time as they can on each point.
And the DK players were so healthy at the end of that exchange, it really allowed them to work forward, take out the remaining Highlander players that were stuck in. I thought we almost just saw a Sandman air shot there coming out of Reimu. That's a weapon we haven't seen in a good while. But this is going to open up the forward hold on the side of DK. Boar taking down Giraffe, really making that room. But as I say that, Feint takes down Boar, so let's see if Barryson is able to take advantage of the lack of sniper.
Yeah, but in comes Deft in from behind. He is cloaked. He's going to go for the stab. He does take down Barry Center. Doesn't elect to go for the medic. He's just taking down that sniper. It's not something for his team not to worry about now, as both teams do have equal Ubers. 2 minutes and 30 seconds now, and DK starting to get a little bit more aggressive here. They're getting really close towards this cliff. Sam has to be careful as the bomb comes in onto Eerie this time. Split finishes him off with those iron bomber pipes. And HP looking like they're struggling now, but they're just going to push through the tunnel. Not sure if this has been called. Boar is still looking on top, and it hasn't been called. They've come in from behind, and they're just trying to sandwich them here. The Ubers get traded, but Split goes down, wasn't aware, and it's only Treylan getting the effects of this Uber as they try to back away, and HP may have actually won this based on that push. Really good positioning and really good decision making from there. Digi is coming in from behind in the tunnel. DK have to be careful that they don't get stuck in here and lose too many players and not have a third hole, but it doesn't seem to matter, Rogue, because they're just walking forward and getting the frags.
And I think we actually saw Digi and Eddie kill each other and themselves by one died to the rocket, the other dying to the splash damage. But as I say this, Exile goes down to Reimu. We have, again, this forward hold's being set up by DK. You really didn't expect such a shutout on this point, but I'm absolutely loving these repushes here. They're waiting until they have the players. They're waiting until they know what Highlander players are doing, and then they're taking their whole team forward.
Yeah, I mean, they're just it's group mentality. They're just walking forward and doing it really well. And with about 1 minute and 10 seconds left now, starting to get into the realms of impossibility as DK are picking up a couple of more frags. If they don't, drop here and absolutely melt away, and HP are going to find it very, very difficult to get anything done. Exile, wow, great surf by him just to survive. Digi is desperately chasing, and finally Reimu does finish him off. He was on a 7 kill streak as he takes down the medic there. Great play by Day, but Exile trying to escape there, very unfortunate. As DK does get domed, he types chat, and he gets a bullet to the head for his troubles. It's pretty much over now. 35 seconds left on the clock, and HP aren't going to win this round, which means the first map is going to go. Sorry, HP aren't going to win this round. DK is going to win this round, which means DK are going to win this first map 2-1 before we move into product. And like I said, the team that loses a best of 3 on a payload map, heading into the second map, they're going to be feeling a little bit downhearted. And I was going to, like I also said earlier, especially if you're HP, having been 1-0 to the good and setting a really good attacking time, and then essentially crumbling in the next few rounds, it must feel harsh for them. You can see how their motivation's kind of gone in the latter stages of this round, and we'll have to see if they can react on product.
And I know this is a metric I believe in Counter-Strike. I'm not sure exactly how accurate it is to Team Fortress, but the metric is that or statistic I should say, if your team wins the first round in a best of 3, there's something like an 85% chance that you'll win the whole best of 3 series. And, that was a lot of people complaining about best of 1s and things like that. But here we saw Highlander players took that first round. And I actually, if we had more downtime, CeeJaey, I was going to ask you, did Highlander players figure it out? Did they figure out DK? Did they figure out the format? But it looks like they didn't. We saw DK coming back in. First, they take a round in a pretty close fashion, but this was just an absolute shutout.
Yeah, it was, and it just looked like DK themselves, it's taken a little bit longer for them to warm up, and they have got into that momentum now. They have, got to the point where they're playing well together, and, especially in that attack, it took them a little bit longer than HP in the previous round, but they did look well, they did look coordinated, and on that defense, they just had their positioning down pat. They knew where to stand, they knew what to do, and they knew when to get aggressive, and they got aggressive at the right times, which just didn't allow HP to get that space and get that opening, which was really, really well played by them. So HP are going to be kind of sitting there and thinking, okay, let's, they'll have to put upward out of their minds now. If we do go to a full best of 3 on the maps, they will be going to Badwater. So some similar elements are going to be coming into there. And I'm sure DK will be, pretty pleased with that. But moving on to product, so they're just going to have to think, okay, this is something different. I'll be interested to see if we're going to see any pyro action coming out of Feint or on the other team on DK, but we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, knowing the players like you do, who do you think is going to be the favorite when we go into product?
Product is really is a little bit different than Upward, I think, because if you're Digi, if you're Reimu, renowned Sixes players, you look at Upward and say, well, what am I supposed to do here? But on Viaduct, the only thing you're supposed to do is get kills, and if Sixes players know any of these Highlander maps, it's absolutely Viaduct. So I'm expecting DK would probably be taking Viaduct. I was thinking that Highlander players really needed Upward here because, again, Badwater is one of those Highlander-oriented maps. The Sixes player is going to be a little bit more lost, but as I talk about the Sixes players not really knowing the maps, we actually had the 2 players top fragging in the server were Digi and Reimu on the side of DK. So what do I know, CeeJaey?
Well, maybe they're just kind of, I think it's one of 2 things. Either people are establishing the way to counter the pick classes. They've sat there and been like, okay, we're not going to get sniped or backstabbed anymore, and they've kind of become more spy aware as the game has gone on, and they focused the sniper a little bit more, and that's allowed the other classes a little bit more freedom. Or, you know, those Sixes classes have warmed up a little bit. I mean, this is the first round where we saw Split actually out-damage Giraffe, so, you know, maybe he's coming into his element a little bit more. He only died 7 times in the entire game. You know, he had a nice KD there, as well as Traylan. He only died 5 times on the heavy. Did really, really well. Got a massive AD of 6. So it just seemed the team worked well together, but definitely if your flank is doing a lot of work, then it just does relieve that pressure on your combo, as much as you could call it in this instance, in this game mode. But yeah, maybe both teams are now fully warmed up, and I'm expecting a pretty close game on Product.
And, you know, looking at these logs too, I'm noticing now that both spies went negative. It's very different from that first couple of rounds we saw where the spies were really going off. We see fewer deaths out of Exile and Sam, fewer drops than the previous couple of rounds. Just a little bit more comfortable for the players of each side not having to worry about the classes as much. Yeah, like you said, Split definitely getting more comfortable. Digi and Reimu really, really delivering here. And we can see sort of how it plays out here. The DK side, with those such few deaths, they're able to keep getting those holds onto second. Since they're not dying, they're able to wait for the 1 or 2 people on the flank who died, and they're able to move all the way back in. We don't see any more of those, oh, we just lost 6 of our 7 players, time to lose 1.5 points just because of that, you know. We saw DK playing really cohesively, not giving up those kills that they don't have to, not giving up the deaths, rather. And that's definitely what allowed them to hold that second point for so long.
Well, absolutely, you know, and they did kind of, the first point always seemed to be in the favor of the attacking team. They always seemed to win the fight. They'd get an Uber advantage and they'd have that pushing onto second. But what we saw DK do was really kite that Uber and do really, really well against it, which allowed them to stay in that fight, and they held that second point for the entire of the time that was given to them, which was, you know, 7 minutes or so. We are moving on to Product now, and obviously as we change maps, we are going to have different weapon bans. So looking at this already, the first early bans coming out from the teams are the Razorback, the Natasha, and the Machina. And Razorback and Machina we've seen a lot being banned, especially on Product. But Natasha is also something on Product we've seen being banned because, I don't know, I just think that movement impairing factor, especially on a map where you want that mobility from your scout and your soldier, I think that comes, you know, people don't want that at all, and HP have just taken that straight away.
Yeah, and if I can jump in here, I would say it's because HP has Syath, who, if you remember the first round, actually was the one who top fragged for his team. And so I'm guessing they don't want to, if they're banning Natasha because they don't want DK's heavy to be running Natasha, to be slowing down Syath, who was doing such a good job in at least being able to secure those frags, and probably will be doing even a better job on a map as Product, which, again, for anybody who's coming in here, maybe not familiar with the comp scene, Product is Viaduct with some small changes to it. The biggest change is on that right-hand side where there was the wall previously. It's now this kind of hallway that they can walk through, and it kind of creates just one more entrance, so it's not only fighting directly over the point, as HP's pick is coming up here next. But, I mean, I think it also kind of says something, you know, we were talking before about the spies, but the Razorback has now been banned twice. And these are Highlander players. They understand how important the spy, or like how big the Razorback is, and they get it. And the Deadringer coming out as well. I mean, how do you feel about that, Rogue?
Wow, yeah, that's not something I expected to see, especially because the Highlander players are the ones with Feint, and Feint is very, very proficient with that Deadringer. I mean, the same is definitely true for Death, but you sort of think they wouldn't want to cripple themselves so much. And especially with a map as small as Viaduct, it's very easy as Spy to get flickered or bump into someone or catch random spam. So that you really look to that Deadringer to get you across the point safely. So without that Deadringer, we might see fewer frags coming out of those spies.
Yeah, we'll probably be seeing a little bit more patient style from the spies, a little less aggressive and stuff like that. But the first save coming out of the teams from DK is actually the gunboats. And that's something we generally see being saved by the teams, because I suppose they want their soldiers to have that mobility. They want, you know, we did see yesterday on this map one of the teams banning gunboats, and we were kind of talking about what kind of different weapon are they going to use. And it was Conch or Battalion's Backup, stuff like that. We did actually see a buff ban at one point. And that can work, but it's a very, very different style of soldier. So, keeping that gunboats in the game does allow, that mobile soldier, and kind of gives those space for the aggressive bombs.
And we definitely saw Reimu really capitalizing on that as well in the first half, not in the first half, excuse me, in the last half, because we had that top frag coming out of him. And especially, again, those Sixes players maybe don't know how to handle the banners quite as well. Sometimes you happen to see 1 or 2 banners in Sixes, but definitely want to stick with what you know around here, especially in such a chaotic game mode that, well, not that the game mode's chaotic, but no one really knows it well enough. No one's figured out the meta. So sticking to what you know is very nice, as we actually see the Kritzkrieg being chosen out of the set of Highlander players to be saved. Think we're going to see some Crits plays here?
It's something I've been wanting to see for a while. In all of these games, there has been some games where the Kritzkrieg has been kept in or banned. And something I talked about earlier on a 5CP map. I think it was on Gullywash, and it was one of the Sixes orientated teams. And they opted to save Kritzkrieg. And I thought it was because, they just wanted to DM their way through the game. But they didn't really use it in the end. And I'm just wondering whether HP have got a specific strategy in mind. This is their map pick after all, so they did choose Product. So they'll be going into this thinking this is our map to win. We can level this tie 1-to-1, and they've enabled the degreaser as well, which makes me think as well. Feint is going to be running the pyro. He's going to be running that degreaser. So some crits, some pyro action to deflect those Ubers. It seems they have some sort of game plan panned out.
I think that's it, CeeJaey. I think maybe I don't want to place any bets on it or anything, but we see Highlander players crippling the spy, but saving that pyro weapon. We might see Feint stick to pyro and not opt for the spy on this map.
Yeah, I mean, spy is can be very strong in this map, but now that the Dead Ring has been banned, it's a lot weaker, and it means that they can easily counter the spy. So they're really crippling Deft here, and if they do run the pyro without the Dead Ringer, he's going to be easily spy checked. But the next one's extremely interesting.
Wow.
Thomas never allowed, but Crusader's crossbow banned?
Wow. That's interesting, because that was one of those weapons that I was thinking about, like, what would it be like if you banned that weapon? Like, it's not necessarily broken inside the game. It does increase the skill cap of Medic, but what is it like if you take away the ability for the Medic to be able to heal? And that's really interesting to see that coming out of HP. So maybe they were expecting Sam to use it, and especially particularly the Crusader's crossbow with the heavy is so powerful because you have such a big target to constantly heal up. Really interesting as we see the Ambassador coming out as well. Some a little bit of tit for tat and out here. Really interesting picks in this second ban wave.
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, Sigafoo. At least one point in this map, a medic is going to switch to their primary and shoot a needle at their heavy before realizing it's not the crossbow. It's just so second nature now to just flick out that crossbow and shoot an arrow. And like you said, especially on the heavy, just putting your heals on your demo man, and on your other classes, your more mobile classes like your scout, who you want to keep alive and have more heals on a map like this. It allows your heavy to play a little bit more distant and just shoot the arrows to get that burst healing going on. It's going to be really, really interesting to see not only what the medics are going to play, but also what kind of style they're going to do, whether they're going to have to affect the way that they play. But the Ambassador being banned is kind of... I'm not sure if I agree with that, simply because, banning the Dead Ringer and saving the Degreaser is, again, a sign of intent, I think, from HP, that they're going to want to maybe run the Pyro, unless it's a bait. Unless they're, saving the Degreaser and being like, hey, look, we're going to run a Pyro. And, they're trying to bait DK into thinking they'll run Feint on Pyro, but banning the Ambassador and then banning the Girati as well. So I've not seen any Giratis so far in this competition, or at least I haven't. Most snipers seem to be running the Cozy Camper as a secondary, but again, we haven't seen the Darwin's Danger Shield yet, Rogue. So it's not been banned yet, and it's not been saved, so it still may be in play.
Yeah, it looks like this is Highlander players' last chance to help their sniper get kills from headshots here. And I'm also pretty interested by the Girati because Viaduct is such a small map that Girati can soar to pretty much whatever area you need it to. from wherever you happen to be standing, and that really inhibits pushes from whoever's coated in that golden liquid. So I definitely understand the ban of Girardi, but I'm gonna have to agree with you on the Ambassador. Why ban the Ambassador if HP is already crippling Spy? But there's the shield. Okay, we can rest easy.
Yeah, we're not going to see any. I mean, I did see a match. I was actually at DK, against Marmodogs, I believe, and the Darwin's Danger Shield was used by both snipers. And there was basically not much sniper v sniper action going on at all. It was very much teams just trying to bum rush the sniper before allowing him the space for the shot. So that was it's actually disappeared again. I'm sure it will come back unless people are changing their minds. I'm not sure, but that'll be another couple of saves coming up soon, coming out of both teams. But yeah, I mean, it does make me wonder what. Actually, no, it's not going to be the Danger Shield. It seems that HP have changed their mind, and instead they're going to ban the Spicicle.
Wow.
So, again, that really does look like they want to play around the Pyro. No Dead Ringer, no Spicicle. There's no flame invulnerability for the Spy now, and they've allowed the Degreaser, which, you know, it's really going to counter the Spy on this map. And I think Deft is going to, I don't know, if they do run a Pyro, he's going to maybe struggle to do some work.
Yeah, I think this is really interesting. What if you actually look at these bans, and particularly, and you look at the 7v7 format, I think it's so funny because you think of like, is it, you know, obviously we know the sniper is going to be a powerful class. Sniper is this incredibly powerful class, especially when you get into the 7v7 range. And it looks like they have switched their pick to Cloak and Dagger. Okay, they've now switched it. So it was Spicicle, but they opted to go for Cloak and Dagger at the last second and then save Gunslinger so they can run the Engineer. But I thought that was really interesting. But it really, the thing that I find fascinating is if you look at these bans, it's Sniper, 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 Spy, 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 right? Of the 8 bans, it's between the Sniper and Spy classes that are receiving the majority of them. And I think that's what's happening. These are 2 teams with 2 phenomenal, like, both have snipers, both have spies who know what they're doing. And you can see that teams are getting frustrated and annoyed at them. And like, all right, what can we do to cripple these classes? And I find that really interesting that they're focusing it so hard and how effective, and especially the spy is in this format. Because I think a lot of people did not expect to see the spy be played so consistently in 7v7.
I think another thing that's interesting, which we haven't seen just yet, which has been banned a lot, especially on King of the Hill maps, is the Mad Milk. Scouts running the Mad Milk as a secondary, it kind of doubles up because, you know, you can throw that during a mid-fight or throw it during a team fight, and that's going to lead the team fight in your favor because everyone who shoots an enemy player covered in that milk is going to get health back. So that really does help. But also, you throw it at the spy, he's going to be covered in that milk. And you can actually see, I think it was Sigafoo there was actually running it in the pregame. So, you know, you throw that at a spy, it will reveal him. He's going to be covered in that milk. He's not going to be able to get away with the Dead Ringer. No Cloak and Dagger to just continuously hiding. So, you know, it very much does force the spy to constantly be on the move, which means it's going to be a lot more pressure for him to get picks. Can't really take his time like we have seen on Upward. So, yeah, that does interest me. But the allowance of the Gunslinger, seeing as HP was so against running an Engineer on Upward, are they going to swap one of their classes off for an Engineer, do you think, on this map?
I mean, even whether they think it's a good idea or not, for me, it really begs the question, who's going to do it, too? You know, you definitely don't want to give up things like Scout, Soldier, Demo, Medic, Sniper. Maybe they'll send their spy onto it, but remember, they were stacking Pyro, so would Feint really want to switch to that Engineer? Maybe, you know, Heavy is so strong in this map, especially to deny those bombs, to be spy checking, to just have a lot of health and not die. Would he switch off? I don't know. I don't think it would be worth it. So I'm definitely curious to see who would even play Engineer at this point, because we've already seen Treylon on the DK side showing that he's very comfortable with playing that Engineer. So it seems like it helped the enemies one themselves almost.
Yeah, the next save is actually from DK, and they've saved the Mad Milk. So a weapon I thought would probably be saved or wanted to be used by HP. Sorry, by HP to help them reveal the spy, has been saved by DK. So obviously they still get that healing factor when they throw it at enemies and all of that, but the kind of the spy revealing factor, I think they've just gifted HP an extra spy counter. Unless they have something up their sleeve, I think Deft is going to be extremely crippled in this game. He doesn't have the Ambassador, he doesn't have the Dead Ringer, he doesn't have the Cloak and Dagger. You know, the enemy team has the Degreaser allowed, and they also have the Mad Milk allowed. So it's going to be a very difficult game for him, I feel. The next ban came out of HP, and it is the Sandman, which I totally agree with, and I wish Valve would just, you know, global ban the Sandman. It's a dumb weapon, no arguments. But the next ban is actually the Power Jack. So DK starting to maybe getting a little bit of a whiff, starting to sniff out the tactics of HP and thinking, okay, maybe they're going to be running a Pyro. So taking away that Power Jack takes a little bit of the movability away from the Pyro. He's going to be a little bit slow on the rollouts. So again, maybe they're just targeting and just thinking about the strats, just trying to counter those a little bit. I mean, but overall, we still have things like the Reserve Shooter allowed. We still have the Darwin's Danger Shield allowed. The Spicicle is still allowed. So still plenty of options for the teams to use. I just wonder, I really want to see the kind of class composition coming out of HP, because their map bans, their weapon bans seem to signify one thing, and it's going to be interesting to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And what's really interesting to me too is how. So we saw the first bans on the first map; those were sort of going in cold, right? But now these teams have played each other. They've seen how they use the weapons. They've seen who's a standout player. They've seen what their own team can counter versus not. So now we sort of see almost a reaction. And, you know, it's exactly like Sigafoo said. A lot of the bans pertain to Spy or Sniper in some way, shape, or form, even for some of these other weapons. But, you know, and then we have a couple side, what's the word? We have a couple curveballs coming our way, too, in the crossbow and things like that. So it's cool to see how these teams are adapting and reacting to each other rather than going in with what they know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sigafoo, I don't know what you think about those weapon bans, whether they're more kind of map orientated or based around the teams.
I think the Power Jack makes sense in the sense that, you know, you see the team. I mean, I think that's more of just a mind game pick, that you see a team picking the Degreaser. You're like, all right, let's pick the Power Jack to try to stifle, because Power Jack's such an important weapon to the Pyro to be able to gain that mobility. The Sandman, I mean, I understand that it's like a weapon that's not loved, but I have a hard time. If you have one scout on your team, one scout, you're saying, I want to put him at 110 HP. Like, I just can't believe that as much as like you can potentially get a lucky, if you're playing, this is an incredibly close competitive matchup. The fact that you would gimp your scout down to 110 HP, I can't believe that would happen. I can't believe that somebody would use the Sandman, just because it puts you that much closer to dying. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe more people would use it. And I can see in 6s why, because you can have one scout with it, one scout without. But this, like, and Scout's such a powerful class that, you know, taking away his health can kind of hurt you. So the whitelist is set up. Everything is ready to go. So we're just going to wait for the players to get readied up and starting in the server. So hopefully just a couple of minutes until we get going live here. But it should be pretty interesting, and it's going to be kind of match point for HP, or for DK really, for them to move on to the grand finals. Right now, these guys are playing in the semi-finals. The winner will go on to the grand finals to be playing for $1,400, and the losers will go on to play, and they will still get some money. They will still get a couple $100 themselves, no matter what. But we'll see what they can do as they are starting to get going live here. And we can kind of take it over to predictions. CeeJaey, yourself, who do you think is going to take this map, and what do you think the score is going to be?
I think, based on those weapon bans, HP picking this map, I think they've got a very clear strategy. I think they looked good on Upward, and I think this kind of break in between is going to give them a little bit of time to settle themselves and hype themselves up for the second map. So I'm going to go with HP. Do you think DK are going to get a round or two? So I'm going to say a 3-1, 3-2 to HP on this one.
Rogue?
Man, going into that last map, I had a really good idea of what would happen. And it's funny because I actually predicted DK to win that map, but they did win it, but now I'm feeling a little stronger about the Highlander players. To me, really, it's such a toss-up. I feel like it's definitely going to be 4-3 either way, but if I had to edge it, I would probably give it to DK just because they're so proficient with their DM. And this is a map that all the players know.
Looks like we're starting up here, and I'll let you guys take it away.
I actually have to disappear now, Sigafoo. It's been an
Oh, you
honor
do?
casting
Okay.
for your cup. I'm sorry, I need to go and attend to other business. But we do have the strategy time, so I just want to say a quick thank you for setting up this cup and asking me to cast. And good luck for the rest of the tournament. I will be watching the later games before I go to sleep. So, Rogan, Sigafoo, thank you very much, and good luck with the cast.
It's been a
Well, with
pleasure.
that, yeah, we'll take it away. Thank you so much, CeeJays. We're coming out to the second map of the semi-final round of DK versus HP playing KOTH Product. And we'll see what's going to be going on here. It's just kind of some back and forth right now. No frags coming out for either team. Just some spam going across the point as Digi is going to be jumping up to the enemy roof, trying to take some ground. Might be caught out here from Syaf. Actually pushing onto the soldier. Ultimately should be traded out, but that distraction play ultimately works out as they do pick up Berry Center in the process. So that's going to give the edge there to the sniper for DK of Boar as they do take and walk across the point.
And getting that sniper and spy down for DK definitely gave them a lot of room to go into that point here. And interestingly, after all that work on the spy from Highlander players, they have feint on spy. No pyro here for either team. And we have a beautiful snipe from Boar onto Exile and follows it up with one onto Eerie. Just, you know, get some icing on that cake there. So this is going to give a really comfortable hold here for the side of DK. Boar ends up going down for it, but yeah, I'd take the trade any day of the week, Sigafoo.
Yeah, keeping your medic up to 100%, but as they say that, Etney jumping in with a beautiful job does get the force off onto Sam, who went down below 50 HP, able to get his health back up, but now he's not going to have that Uber charge. Both teams sitting without Uber, as Berry Center is getting kind of a little bit poked by the enemy spy of Deft. I mean, that's a really important job that Deft's going to have all day as he gets the backstab, and that's going to give it just a little bit more comfort to Boar as Deft shouting out some memes into chat there after killing the enemy sniper. And the sniper on this map is so utterly important. I mean, it really does not allow your team to push up if you know you have to walk into the enemy's sight line.
Wow, and a quick double kill from Feint onto Sam and Split. He was moving so fast I didn't even see those kills go down. This is letting his team work over here onto the point. And Feint actually stayed alive after all that, recommitting onto Traylon, gets the kill. Feint really not at all inhibited by those spy bands, just going off on the plays of DK.
Yeah, it turns out spies can still do that thing where they can instantly kill anybody, no matter what. So they still can't, you can't ban that mechanic away in spies. I mean, I love it so much, as that's one of the biggest surprises that I've seen in this cup, is I didn't expect spies to be so utterly effective, but they continue to be. But we'll see if Digi can be effective, as he is jumping up with the black box onto that rock, trying to do what he can for his team, as Berry Center went down again to Deft. So again, this looks like DK is going to start pushing up since they don't have to worry about being headshot.
DK does have the numbers advantage. The Uber comes out from Exile onto Giraffe here, and they're able to pressure them out. Sam doesn't quite have Uber yet. We have DK somehow winning this exchange despite having not popped their Uber off. They're able to clean up. Even Reimu chases Exile way deep towards the HP side of the map and seals off the frag, so that's going to be a very quick recount for DK.
Yeah, now Sam holding on to 100% as Digi looked like he wanted to go for a forward hold, but it looks like DK is going to play this a little bit safer as they do have the charge. Feint is in a good position right now, but I believe he was called out. They know that he's nearby. They're searching for him, but they don't have a pyro class to be able to look for. Just the heavy to do that is Boar with an opening pick onto Giraffe. That's going to slow the push out of HP right now as they're already down a minute.
And we have now 70% Uber ad on Sam here. Exile's only at 40% now, has to take a lot of time to work that Uber back up. Berry Center goes down as well. So there are really not any openings here being made for the side of HP. Every time they decide to try for something, they just get shut down. Whether it's Deft, whether it's Boar, you know, even some of these pick classes.
As Split takes down Exile again, he was just spamming stickies over top of the balcony area where HP was standing, and he just got down so much damage. Draft, this is what we call kind of a counter-suicide wave, where if your medic goes down, your life has no value, because the way that respawns work, as that Sam does get forced off there from, I believe that was Syaf coming from the backside. So good job out of HP, is they did what they needed to do, which was force Sam to use his Uber charge. And so when your medic goes down, it's very common for you to go suicide. But right now, suiciding as Giraffe gets caught out by two players, that's just a big misplay coming out of HPs. He's going to be down for another 5 seconds, plus has to walk forward.
And Def takes on Berry Center as well, so Boar has free reign on this push here. There's only 4 seconds on the clock. HP trying to get towards it. We have Eerie on that engineer, just trying to get to point as soon as it can, but the players drop one after another on Highlander players.
Yeah, and right now, DK looking incredibly strong. Only lost a minute against HP in that point, and their holds were so well. But honestly, can some reason, I think, was a mixture of Giraffe going down maybe a little bit too early, but the other big reason was Deft. Deft just kept focusing Barry. I'd have to go look at the number of times Deft killed Barry, but I don't even, like, it has to be something insane, like 5 times in that one round. Barry Center is complaining in chat, kind of jokingly so, but it's got to be frustrating to just constantly be focused by the spy as a sniper.
Oh, I'm sure, especially on a map like Viaduct. Barry Center comes back and very hot. It snipes Digi as soon as he takes that jump up, trying to make some room, but Barry Center says no. Deft ends up going down on the side of DK. Boar gets a beautiful snipe off on the Giraffe. Having no demo man for this mid push makes it a little rough, but Highlander players have some very good ground here. Despite being even in numbers, actually, they're able to get the cap off just because they have better positioning. And Eerie making a lot of room, getting that mini sentry in place and playing that cap.
Yeah, and Eddie took down Sam there, so that's going to give a nice uber advantage to HP. I think this is one of the first times where they've had the advantage inside of this game. And actually, they've switched to the Kritzkrieg on the red side of HP, so we'll see how that works for them. I mean, that's exactly what you want to have when you have the advantage. But we'll see what they can do if they want to pop it off. As you're still holding on to it. Draft knows it. Oh, no! Boar with the big headshot, the drop coming out of Exile, and that's going to open up for DK as they were going to flood us the point here.
And that's what you get for being uncertain. They were looking for the crits, didn't quite get it yet, and then Exile pays the price. This is going to give a very clean push to DK. You can see the Heavy and Demo working in with all their heals, but Barry Center takes down Traylon. That's 450 health right off the map. So it looks like this push is still going to go to DK, as we have Etney collapsing on Sam, takes Sam down. Digi trying to whip Etney here, not quite successful, but wow, what a big play there onto Sam. And this is going to keep the hold for Highlander players.
Yeah, that's a big misplay coming out of DK. You take down the enemy medic. You just kind of got to work yourself across the point, keep your team healed up. It should be a fight that's easy to win, but they just were getting maybe a little bit too forward ahead of their heals. Ultimately got killed off, and then Etney coming from behind, taking down Sam, is going to work against them. Currently, DK has not even captured this point once in this round after looking so strong, so HP definitely coming back as a Mad Milk was not banned. We talked about this, is coming out from Rimu, so we can see what they can do. Is Deft right behind the medic, but he whiffs the stab. Exile down to half HP as DK trying to push across the point. Oh, and down he goes Digi with a huge bomb in, and that should open it up as there is 3 down right now for HP.
Yeah, now we're going to see some pressure onto Sam here. Will Sam be able to survive this hold? Roll is coming at him left and right, but we have that invite and high platinum level jukes coming out of Sam, pressing that spacebar like it's no one's business. We have the capture coming out here from DK now that they have this numbers ad, but the Highlander players are going to have to go into Sam's full Uber ad. So we're going to have to see maybe if they go for some sort of sack play, maybe coordinate with their spy. How are they looking to open this door, Sigafoo?
Looks like they're going to be opening it through the cliffside. Barry Center trying to peek down the sight line, but Digi is trying to put down some spam, but he sees the sniper, decides to back away. Deft is sitting right in front of the point right now, seeing if he can maybe get an opening, get a pick, trying to give some intel to his team, whatever he can, as Draft is leading. Actually, Draft is alone right now. Nobody on his team is with him, but he opts to back out. XL coming up to about 70% Uber charge right now, as it looks like... Oh, what'd you see?
Oh man, Split just got jettisoned into the skybox by some stickies from Giraffe, and then got sniped when he hit the skybox. That was a great Wombo combo coming out of HP.
And so we'll see what HP can do as they have everybody alive. Sam is going to be using the Uber charge across the point, but Exile just got it back in time. Giraffe is going to be putting down some damage. Just barely misses that pipe onto the soldier. Digi doing a good job getting behind them. He's going to be focusing down Barry Center from the backside, but Feint now onto the Pyroclast is denying him. The point still in the favor of DK right now, but for how long? Giraffe working across the point already half captured for the red team, but here comes a scout. Giraffe a little bit out of position, but Etney coming in to save his team. Gets one frag. Split's going to get picked up as well, as HP is going to be able to retake this point.
What a great collapse there from Etney. You know, Etney has been at the top of Platinum since I probably started playing Highlander, and Etney always delivers, really able to read these situations. Cleans up on the slope there, taking down a good helping hand of, what's the word I'm thinking of? A good handful, there we go, a good handful of DK players. So now, this is going to give Exile 50% ad. They're sitting here, it looks like they're back on Uber. Yeah, definitely an Uber charge here from Exile. No Kritzkrieg just yet, but they have the Pyro, they have the Engineer, no Heavy, no Spy on the side of HP.
But it seems to be working out. Feint is running the Pyro class. That was his original main before he switched over to Spy, and I think that's really helping out Berry Center, which in turn is helping out HP, as they're going to help themselves to some frags right here. Ubercharge coming out, as Scythe picking up a 3K. Can he go for 4? Chasing down Split, opts to keep himself alive, but Sam did go down in that exchange, and this is looking incredibly good for HP with 15 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, Scythe knows that with that Uber pop, they must kill Sam. They know Sam's not going to have just yet, so that's the whole objective. Kill the enemy medic so that you have Uber advantage again. We see DK jumping in, Split flying in through the sky, Reimu charging towards point. Sam trying to bait around it, but he knows they have to stand on it. They actually turn a good couple frags. Giraffe goes down, Feint goes down. Looks like HP is able to clean right back up. Boar's the only one alive. Let's see the 1v4 from a sniper. Okay.
Alright, I'm surprised there wasn't some talk in chat about that one. A beautiful snipe, 1v4 coming out of the sniper, but of course that's not going to be enough. And we'll see if it's going to be enough, because DK, they look so strong in the first round, but HP, this is what this format kind of can bring, is that we saw the Spy, but then we see the switch to Pyro and Engineer working out here, as Feint and Eerie are currently doing work off of the Heavy and Spy respectively. So it's an interesting kind of mix-up here. Maybe the strategy periods that they have to kind of discuss are working out for them, as HP looked very decisive in that second round.
Yeah, and Engineer and Pyro almost counter the Sniper and you know, they can spy check really well, and they don't have to be sightlines as much as a Heavy would. But as I say this, Boar takes on Berry Center right away. Ingerseal's unfortunately not hanging off just yet. But we have some great position coming out of the side of DK. Highlander players sort of stuck out on their slope. We have a teleporter going up as well. I'm loving this Engineer play. Depth comes flying in, takes out Giraffe, and this is going to be a mid-capture for DK.
Yeah, DK easily taking this, and I think that kind of is a sign of what is to come, or the strategy. Oh my god, Digi! Are you kidding me? A beautiful bomb coming in. He went through the doorway to seek into exile. The US military is going to buy him. My goodness, what a just amazing bomb from Digi right there.
Yeah, really, that really seals the deal. Digi says, we're going to get the point well. How about we double down, goes in for that medic, gives Sam that 100% Uber ad. And I'm loving this from Sam. What's happening right here is Sam knows they're going to make some sort of play for him. So he's sitting on this cliff. He has both of his hit scanning classes with him. He has a Heavy, he has the Scout. They're just watching for the bombs. So anyone who commits into Sam has to go so deep into the map. It's almost impossible for a Spy to get all the way in there into position. For anyone jumping, they're going to get mults before they can touch Sam. This is a very heads-up play. This is a man who doesn't want to drop.
We'll see what they can do. The one thing they have is now the Engineer is up on side of the cliff, and so that Mini Sentry is going to be covering the spawn. Actually, Digi doing a good job of focusing down. Mini Sentries can be so effective on this. Teleporter's also up for the team, which is kind of an actually really good thing. Here comes the Ubercharge. Oh, nice reflect out of Feint, stopping the damage, as well as just debuffing this Ubercharge. This Ubercharge has done nothing for DK, and that is all up to Feint, who didn't even lose his life in that exchange. So great job here as the Ubercharge coming out from the HP side, but the DK already backing up Giraffe, getting so incredibly forward. Has to be careful as he's going to get hammed down with the help of the Scout, but the point should go back in the favor of HP, but DK looks like they're not so quickly to give it up.
Yeah, especially not Boar, who takes out an Exile just for good measure. And you know, Feint did so much work when that Uber came in from Sam, and I was watching Exile look at Feint who had 10 health, wondering, where's that crossbow? But I know that answer. It was Ben in this one, as we have DK making their way back towards the point, sort of in a dry push. They know that the Highlander players don't have heals quite yet, so they're edging this cap, trying to get some pressure in.
Yeah, and the Mini Sentry's up on the right-hand side. It seems to be doing a decent job of just kind of spamming the people on the point, though. They're doing their best. DK is to kind of focus that down. 100% Ubercharge in the favor of DK, as Sam actually eats a pipe there. He's holding on with 56 health. If anybody on the enemy team knew, they'd probably want to bomb in. Etney did hear the call. He tries to find it, but it only finds Boar, which isn't the worst pickup to have. Now Berry Center is going to have free reign of sniping for just a little while longer.
Yeah, if you're the Highlander player, hoping you can get this force out of Sam with this cap here. Unless DK actually gives up the cap and then uses the Uber Sigafoo, this is going to give a big add to Exile if he's able to survive. And you're not able to cap while Uber is, so DK has to wait before they can start getting the cap back in.
Yeah, and the only benefit to waiting until after was captured is that you're going to get your respawns up a little bit faster, but Sam gets completely disconnected, focused down by the Engineer, as well as the Scout, who's currently behind Scythe. How is he dodging so much damage? He's trying to get some onto Split. He's going 1v1 against Digi, as Itney comes in from the backside, kills that demo, kills the Heavy, and currently this is looking pretty good for HP, though Giraffe gets taken out. Nice snipe by Boar, No, I said it too soon, as XL just came back up, and HP was not able to sustain that push. Maybe just a little bit too overextended, chasing the frags.
That fight was really Boar and Dev saying, hey, remember us? We're still here. Only I think between the two of them turned something like 5 kills. And when there's 7 players per team, that's a lot of players. So we're going to see the hold coming out of DK, thanks to those players, and some great team fight, even though it was a little scrappy. We're going to see somewhat of a drive push here. Highlander players know both teams don't have any Uber, but anyone who touches that point must answer to Boar, and Eerie did not have to answer that question. But Barry Center takes down Sam right back off of it. So now there's only 8 seconds that Highlander players must capture this point.
Yeah, with no heals onto the blue side, another snipe coming out, Split going down, no Demoman, only 3 players alive from DK. The point easily goes back in the favor of HP, but the big problem with HP is there's a 0-0-0 on that blue side of the clock, and so if HP gives up this point one time, they're going to lose this round. So their backs are against the wall currently, but with 100%, they got to be feeling in a pretty comfortable position as Def gets caught out there. But we'll see what can happen as DK currently pushing up onto the cliff side.
Yeah, we have a faint styling a little bit there. Catches out Def now that he's on the Pyro. It's a little reflect jump just for fun. We have Digi actually working a big bomb in. Loses almost all of his health just to go for it. Then, oh man, we have Split. So Digi goes down. You don't want to stagger your bombs like that unless they deal with you one by one. You really want to collapse on that medic, surround him from as many angles as you can. But unfortunately, DK doesn't quite have that coordination. Not able to put any pressure on Exile, and Nico just gets to hang out here in pocket.
And Draft's doing a good job right now. It's one of the little things is he's just using those pipes to spam down the cliffside, and occasionally he's hitting that damage, but every time you hit a pipe, it just slows down the enemy team a little bit longer. But Draft is currently getting reconnected back up with Exiles, both medics at 100%. DK looks like they want to push now as they're trying to walk up the front side of the cliff. 7 players alive, and here comes Ubercharge coming across the point. Digi doing a double bomb in, trying to get behind, create a distraction. The scout going across. A much better Uber coming out from the red side, never even flashing, so Draft is going to be able to hold on to it. 2 players lost in that push by DK as another goes down, and HP has not lost a single player and continues to hold on to this point. 30 seconds left. This is spelling disaster for DK right now.
And you have to give thanks to Exile if you're a Highlander player, because Exile had a very heads-up milk there where he used once Sam was only at 30% left in his charge. So Exile didn't even have to flash his teammates. They were able to just collapse right away. Did you trying to work his way in? Doesn't have very much health to speak of and has to go to the sentry. But again, Born Death taking down Giraffe. We have Barry Center down as well. On no flank side, the Netney have gone down. Only 2 up. And remember, this capture will give the point to DK, and they decide to take it.
Wow, a good hold out of HP, but not good enough as that final few frags coming out from DK. And the thing you have to remember is that when a team does not control the point, the respawns are twice as fast. So if somebody comes up on the red side who controls the point at 8 seconds, on the offense it'll only be 4 seconds. So every time you take a trade when you're trying to push the point, it gives your team an advantage. So we'll see what they can do as DK currently up 2-1, barely eking it out in that final round as we come into this next mid-fight.
Yeah, we don't have any class changes so far, but we do have Remy working the bonk. Actually gets denied by Faint. Little air blast keeping him right out of there. We have some good pressure coming out of both sides. Both teams opting to play sort of around their rock. Deft coming into a drop with a stab, coming off of China. Let's see what he's able to get. Tries to go for Barry Center, not able to clean it up. But then again, the distraction is enough to make the Highlander players look away from the point. As Split tries to walk on it, but Barry Center, realizing that they're leaving the point open, gets a frag off onto Split. And now the Highlander players are able to work together and work toward that point.
Yeah, Barry Center currently sitting on the Darwin's Danger Shield. That's one of the things that was not banned. Boar returning in kind, as both of them are holding on to it. So that Sniper v Sniper duel is incredibly hard to win just because of the damage reduction, as well as almost every sniper is going to be at 185 at all times. It's one of the downsides that Giraffe does eat his own headshot right there, so he has to be careful holding on to the point. Both medics up at 100%, but the point in the favor of HP, who are currently down around in this comparison. We'll see what they can do, as it looks like the scout's going to be using Bonk to gain some intel, and here comes Ubercharge.
Yeah, we have Faint. Wow. Definitely showing he knows what he's doing on Pyro. He's able to stuff that entire Uber and survives afterward. Usually it's one or the other. But we actually didn't even need to see the Uber from Exile there. DK was way out of position and no one on HP was hurt. But as I say that, DK just says, well, we don't need an Uber to win this point. They charge forward, out DM all the players on Highlander players, and take that point, no questions asked.
And well, that's one of the things when it comes to Highlander in particular is it's not about the Uber charges and how you utilize them, because usually in the trades it's not how you push with your Uber charge, it's how you push after the Uber charge, because there's usually, like, it's so hard to get damage out when both teams are popping Ubers into each other. But if you can get damage out after the fact, those post-Uber fights are really what set up almost everything in this game mode. And right now, Split is down for another 10 seconds. He is on a long respawn because they do control the point. And no Demo Man for the defensive side as Barry gets a nice snipe with the help of Exile onto Boar. And this point should go back in the favor of HP, and DK seem to struggle to hold on to this point right now.
Yeah, and these 7v4 retakes of the point, you definitely want to keep your meta alive, keep everyone healed up, and try and play it slow. And Highlander players did that very well. Don't let anyone from DK come in, keeping their meta alive. But it will be even Ubers here, and remember, DK does have the better spawns, so in an even fight, they're going to win out in the long run as the Uber gets popped out.
And here comes the Demo Man, but it's actually going to be Giraffe returning the favor as he's pushing across the point. The Uber much better for the red team because they popped later. As the Demo Man puts stickies underneath the medic, and he gets headshot in mid-air. Are you kidding me, Boar? An amazing snipe as he falls from the sky into his death. Giraffe doing his best to try to hold on to the point, but I can't imagine he's going to do it much longer. Sam did go down in that exchange, but Traylon with the Fist of Steel is running onto the point. He's not going to be able to cap it as Syath is pushing across. And DK, despite getting the amazing kill, is going to be able to hold on here.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with the flank of the Highlander players here. You really don't expect them to recover from such decimation coming out of Boar. But they're able to hold the point here, and they have over a minute of an advantage here on the clock. Neither team has Ubers. It looks like we're probably going to see somewhat of a dry push from DK, only, again, any trades you get are good trades because you have the better spawns here for DK. So they're edging the cap here. Reimu is just having so much room here. No one's contesting him. He's able to keep peppering those players down. Ends up taking out Eerie as well. Now Giraffe surrounded by Deft and Reimu. Ends up getting completely shoved out. The point goes in favor of DK.
Yeah, I loving these off Uber pushes out of DK. They just are looking so good. I mean, their Uber v Uber fights they seem to struggle with them, especially going up against Feint the Pyro, who's doing a good job of air blasting them back. But anytime they just need a fight, 1v1, they seem to be winning them. And right now they are down by about a minute and a half. We'll see what they can do as Deft is right behind the enemy sniper, and down goes Barry Center. So that's going to give Boar the advantage in the sniper duel a little bit longer, as there's only one sniper on each team allowed. And he's going to get denied. Nice air shot by Digi, denying him from coming in. And DK, just really nice hold as Exile goes down as well. Boar with a beautiful headshot.
Alright, that's a +2 to our friend Boar here. As soon as Exile got that Uber, he got sniped out, and we have a full team wipe on the side of Highlander players. You were really rooting for them in that push because they were waiting for themselves to get Uber, but every time they were about to go in, they lost one player, then another player. Like, Feint went down just before they were ready to go in, and then now as they're finally starting to push, bam, Exile's down. So what are they going to do now? They have a full disad, and there's only a minute on the clock.
Well, I can tell you what Deft's going to do. He's going to go straight for Barry Center, taking down the sniper again. Boar is going to have that advantage as the Uber comes off from the blue team, but I'm not sure how good of a pop that is. If they do not kill Exile here, that's going to give the Uber advantage, very rightly so, back to Exile, who's currently at 60%. I mean, you just killed the enemy sniper. I don't think you needed to push across the point there, but the advantage is currently going in the favor of DK time-wise, as they are at below 40 seconds.
Yeah, I'm seeing a big difference in a lot of these off-Uber pushes is, if you know the enemies have the Uber, it's a great play. You saw their Highlander players edge the cap. They actually got it half-cap. They got the Uber out from Sam. But in those times, you don't want to commit your med. Here, though, they do commit their medic, taking a Giraffe and Syath, knowing they have that ad. They're able to get the capture here, but they really, really want to find Sam. Looks like they're pressing him down, and there goes Sam. Giraffe taking down Split and Sam, goes down to Reimu for it, but Giraffe definitely wants to keep his team in this round.
With 12 seconds left clock for DK and 30 seconds ticking down in the favor of HP. A couple players are behind on the cliffside, and they're picking up frags. Digi finally going down, but taking one more with him. And that's going to allow DK to use that distraction to start to push up onto the point for free. Traylon leading the charge on the heavy class, getting himself up to 450. But Barry Center with a snipe onto Sam, and with no heals, there's no way they're going to be able to take this point.
Wow, we saw a bit of an aerial attack coming in from Bourne. But it looks like they're not able to get there in time. The point is so close to capture, but Highlander players have 6 players all on or around the point here. We're going to need to see a lot of DK players fly in, but they're just now getting their respawns.
DK has a chance to win this round and send themselves into grand finals. It's in overtime, and they need to run onto the point right now. Split leading the charge. They need to get the cap time. Finally, Def gets onto it on the backside. Split doing a decent amount of damage, but they accidentally walk off the point, and HP is going to take this round, putting it into 2-2. The sudden death, everything here. DK has a chance to put themselves in the grand finals. HP has a chance to put this into a third map.
Man, the tension is really rising here, especially with all of the cash on the line. I'm wondering to see, maybe we'll see a little bit of adaptation, see how the DK players can handle that Pyro, see how the HP players continue to try and figure out Spy and Sniper as we bring it into the midfight.
Yeah, we haven't seen too many class changes since the first round. Both teams holding on to their respective changes. The Engineer and Pyro still holding on to the red side, and we're seeing the Heavy as well as the Spy onto the blue. So some different decision-making processes, and it's working out for both teams. They're currently at 2-2. Barry Center does go down early in that fight, as well as Syeth and Etney. So DK is easily going to walk across this point, comfortably so, knowing they cannot be sniped, and Boar's going to find if he can find any heads himself.
And you know what? Exile's over there on that crit streak. So Exile may have lost the point, but they know that they're going to have the crits before Sam has Uber. And here comes the crits. Giraffe whiffing that first sticky. That's a little heartbreaking because now the DK players are able to kite it. They're playing way back. They have to yield the point a little bit. They actually might give up the entire cap, but the Uber comes back in from Sam onto Reimu and onto Digi.
Yeah, and right now, Feint doing a good job of denying this. And Sam going down from the side, and the point is still not captured by HP. DK still holding on to this. It's so incredibly close, but just the Scout and the Heavy being able to defend this, and Syeth is going to have to back off despite having the Medic. No, he's going to continue to take this fight. Def is actually trying to win the 1v1 with his pistol. Probably should just go Invis and try to find that backstab, but he's going to get caught out there. Nice sticky coming out from Draft, and it looks like DK is going to just opt to give up this point, but not before losing one more from a nice snipe of Boar.
Yeah, you can really see how the class choices come into play. When DK opts to keep that Heavy, Trey Long was able to hold the point by himself just because he has so much health on that heavy weapons class. So we actually have another crit coming out of Giraffe. Sam playing way back down at the base of Cliff. This, luckily for HP, is going to give them a little breathing room, but DK is now going to have that big ad, and there's not much HP can do to stop it with that crit streak.
Oh, but Def coming and gets a nice stab onto Barry Center again. So Boar, he's going to be standing on top of China, which is the platform right next to the house, and DK is going to easily be able to take this and know they have a sniper overlooking for another few seconds, being uncontested. So DK doing a good job right now. They have the advantage and potentially the chance to put themselves into the grand finals here.
Yeah, and again, we're seeing this great setup from Sam, getting onto Cliff. He knows he has a massive ad, so he's watching out for any of those bombs. Keeps Boar buffed up, keeps his hit scan classes with him on Cliff, ready for whatever comes his way. We actually see Barry Center taking down Reimu here. Giraffe tries to work his way through Connector. Digi right there watching it says, no thank you, sir. But we have now Syeth going down 2 to Deft. This is a really tough repush here for the HP players, not really able to get a force, not able to get any capture time. They just have to keep waiting for their players to come back up.
Yeah, and Sam's still holding on to that 100%. Exile looks like HP, as you said, just going to be playing a little bit safer. They do have one pick, but it's only on a Spy, so not a lot you can work off of. Just makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. Eerie has been struggling on the Engineer class, but Etney trying to make the DK struggle as he does a beautiful bomb and does get the force off. HP just needs to make sure that they keep Exile alive right now, as it looked like Digi trying to make a play, but only finds his life to be ended. 14-second respawn on him, and this is going to be looking pretty good for HP, as it looks like they want to start aggressing across the point, as Exile now has Uber Charge.
Yeah, it's good to see them back on that Uber. They know they're not going to get anything with the crits going into the full ad. So they pop that Uber off, not able to get Sam. So this is going to give Sam about a 30% ad. But at least for the Highlander players, they're able to get that cap off. They're able to sit Barry Center on the rock, and he takes down Boar. So now anyone who peeks any of these angles will have to answer to Barry Center, as we have DK sitting towards the backside of their own cliff.
So we'll see what they can do. Currently, the DK has the advantage in time, but HP is going to try to catch up right now as they control the point. DK has been consistently trying to push from the cliffside. They've liked this, but Boar is also like spamming the stickies down that tight kind of corridor, as Boar and Barry are trying to snipe each other 1v1, but I'm going to be really interested to see when the stats come out how many times they've killed each other, because I can't imagine it's very much with the buff Darwin's Danger Shield, but here comes Overcharge of Split coming across the point. Exile's only at 70%, has to be careful. Reimu trying to go across as well. They did push out the HP side, and looks like they're just going to be content to capture this point and keep everybody alive.
Yeah, we saw a great medic play from Exile. He knows that there's no hope for him, so he runs out to spawn holds on to that ad. Now Exile has a 50% ad on Sam, 60% ad. They're able to work their way back in. Digi trying to make it hard for them. Boar also taking down Barry Center. So this Uber, you want to be taking that scout and you want to be taking that demo in. But it looks like DK's not making it easy. Boar's still holding down this cliff angle. Exile taking some spam as well. We're going to really need to see that Uber soon because Sam's almost on his.
Yeah, this is the final round. If 10 more seconds come off the clock for the blue team DK, they're going to take this and go to the grand finals as HP starting to push across the point. The scout is leading the charge, but they're not able to find any frags. Sam coming up to 95%. He wants to push back across, and here it goes. The point goes in the favor of red, but the blue team being Ubered across it. The scout goes down. He got dropped. Sam just losing track of him a little bit here, but it's an overtime. If blue team captures this, they'll be able to win it instantly. Traylon getting a kill. He's going to pick up one more. The Pyro Feint running down to the point, doing everything he can to defend this, but no, DK is going to take this and put themselves into the grand finals with a chance to win $1.4 thousand.
Man, you really have to head to the players of DK. We've seen such outrageous performance. We've seen the pick classes going off. We've seen the Sixers players going off. The Highlander God really showing that they know what they're doing as well. We saw some really interesting innovations coming out of Highlander players, but it looks like it just quite wasn't enough. That Pyro and Engineer are really doing some good work, but, you know, you can't argue with losing 2-3.
Tough game, but both teams showing it up. What I loved in this matchup is that you saw the kind of the off classes. There's some classes that you're just always going to see. You're always going to see Demo, Medic, probably Scout. But I thought was really interesting is that you saw DK running the Spy as well as the Heavy constantly, and you saw HP constantly running the Engineer as well as the Pyro, and they kind of worked in different ways. I mean, the other thing too is you saw the bands coming out like the Pyro, you know, had the save of the Degreaser, so Feint would be able to run that. But the ban on the Medic not being able to use a Crusader's crossbow, I mean, I'm wondering how much did that affect the game? How much did that Medic not being able to get those extra heals on his forward teammates or being able to buff up that Heavy just a little bit quicker? How much that worked against them? But guys, this has been a great matchup so far. Thank you. We have 300 people watching, and currently, guys, I believe we're actually not going to be casting the third place game, but going straight into the grand finals here, as time has just been seeping away a little bit too long. But that means we're also going to be able to cast every single second of the grand finals matchup, and it's going to be DK versus Froyotech. This is the first time these two teams are going to meet each other. HP, the team that just lost to DK, took a round off of Froyotech on a payload map and 1 round off of Froyotech on 5CP. So despite Froyotech being an incredibly strong team, they have drawn blood against them. And we'll see what DK can do. We're going to take it out to a short break here, guys, as we get coordinated, as we get going. And we should be coming back with the grand finals very soon. So stay tuned, listen to that music, get hyped in chat, get out those predictions, and we'll see you and we'll find out who wins the $1.4 thousand championship of the Challenge Cup.